Well, good evening, everybody. It's Monday night, and we're back. So, Todd is in here. Hi, Todd. How are ya? Angie's in here, and Nisi is in here. Hello, hello, hello. And I just thought, we would just kind of talk about what's happening. What's happening at Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming? What's happening in your neck of the woods? And Charmaine's here. Hi, Charmaine. How are ya? So there's 4 of you. Oh, there's 5. I can't see who the other person is yet. If you don't make a comment, I wouldn't know who everybody is. It's Tony. Tony is in here. So Tony, did you have a great birthday? I saw that there were so many people that said happy birthday to you from the video. I was just so excited. And I thought, that is just so fun. And people are just popping in. Hello, hello. And Anne is here. Jennifer's here. Linda's here. How are ya? Fun, fun, fun. Good. Good. You had a good birthday. Marilyn, how are ya? From Oklahoma. I have actually a lot of family that live in Oklahoma. My aunt and uncle, my mom's brother and his wife, all of their kids, well, almost all of their kids, live in Oklahoma by Moore and Oklahoma City. And so I have been to Oklahoma a few times in my life, and I liked it. If you didn't have all those tornadoes, I might think about moving there. But what has been happening in my neck of the woods? Well, I'm going to show you a little teeny video. This is a bumblebee. And this is a bumblebee that I actually took a photograph of in Wyoming. But there's a lot of bees down here too. And what happened? Yep. I got stung by a bee yesterday. And at first it was nothing. It was not anything. Sorry, my hair is like sticking out. And it was right here on my arm. It's kind of a tender spot. But it seriously swelled up all along my arm. And it doesn't hurt as much today as it did yesterday, but it was so tender yesterday. And I was thinking to myself, because I have honeybees back home, but I just hadn't got stung by a bee in quite a while. And I thought, well, that's no fun at all. So that was one of the things. Now, the hummingbirds have been just crazy here in the last week. I mean, we've had hummingbirds ever since we've been down here, and I have feeders up, and so they come every day. But the last couple of days, there has been so many of them. And I thought, last year, I have photos and video of them making a little nest on one of our trees, and it had the eggs, there was babies, and then one day the cats came, and I come out, and it is just carnage. And so I'm thinking, do you know the collars that they put on dogs, and it's like a cone collar? I'm not really sure what they call them. Hi, Shawnee. How are ya? A little bit of snow there today. December, snowstorms. But I'm thinking about putting these collars on the trees, only upside down, because you can get really big ones. So the trees that are larger, if I can find some nests in there, I could put them in there. Emma, how are you? Emma is at Sunny's place, and she has a great channel. Cones of shame. That's what some people call them. But I just thought, if I got the big ones, they kind of stick out pretty far, and those cats shouldn't be able to climb the trees. And so then they couldn't get the little baby hummingbirds. And Charmaine had snow there too. I talked to my daughter today, and in Rapid City, when I was talking to her, it was 10 degrees. Now, that wouldn't be so bad, but last week it was 74. So she says she's having a little bit of a hard time getting used to, used to it. So, and Emma says that no snow, but it's finally cold. It's been kind of a weird winter back home. There has been some snowstorms, but then lots of days of 60s and 70s. And I'm a little concerned about my trees because I'm not there to water them. And John, the Unpaved Explorer. Hi, Sandy. Happy holidays to you and everyone on the live stream. John, how are you? John and I have been friends on YouTube for a long time, and I so enjoy his channel. So that's totally fun that he's in here tonight. And of course, Nightbot will post people that are my members, and you will also be able to tell if they're a member. Just a minute, let me find Todd. See, they have that little S after their name. Then you know that they are one of my members. And so I appreciate that. Tim, how are you? It's just so great to have so many people in already. Now, this is my idea with my hummingbird. So this is some video from last year. This is the mama sitting on her nest that she made. And she's really only about 7-8 feet above the ground. And so I'm climbing up my little step ladder because I want to show the eggs inside there. See the two little eggs? They're the size of jelly beans. They are so cute. And I'm thinking, if I have the cones for the dogs around the base of those trees so the cats can't get them, then I should be able to protect the hummingbirds. And then my idea, hi Shelly, how are you? I am thinking that maybe I'll get one of those little cameras that I can put outside, and they're like Wi-Fi, and it can just literally just stream the hummingbirds. So as soon as they start building their nest, I can put it up above them and secure it so it doesn't fall down on them. And then just have, I'm not really sure how I do it, if I have to do a separate YouTube channel that just is the hummingbirds. And people can just watch them day or night, whatever they're doing. And even at night, there's a street light that's really close by. And so it would filter some light in there. What do you guys think about that idea? Good idea, bad idea, dumb idea, you know? Emma says it's okay. I think that could be cool. I just thought it might be fun. Oh, Angie says I can send you a camera. Is yours, Angie, are yours okay for outside? You know, it doesn't really rain here. I mean, once in a blue moon it rains here, but it's, you know, in the summertime, they get rain, you know, what they call their monsoons. Okay, Tony says I want infrared for night. Oh my gosh. Ann Dale, you are the best. Thank you so much for becoming a member. She is so, so sweet. If you have not checked out Ann, now Ann's channel used to be Ann Dale Homestead in the Colonies. So you can look it up that way, or you can just look up Ann Dale Homestead. And thank you, Ann. That is so kind of you. That's just awesome. Thank you. And I think it could be really interesting. You know, hummingbirds are always coming and going, and they come over to the feeders, and they're there, and they're back in the trees, and they're there, and it's almost time for them to build their nest. Now, here, the little tiny hummingbirds that are here can have babies twice a year. And they don't migrate. The little tiny ones don't migrate. Now, we have bigger ones that do migrate, but they don't otherwise. So I'm thinking it could be very interesting. Now, Tim says, been mostly mild weather here in North Arkansas so far. Sometimes means January, February may be interesting. How much snow do you usually get? Because I know a lot of Arkansas They get some snow, but your zone is pretty high, 7s, 8s, depending on where you are. Oh, look at there. It's Brian. Brian, how are ya? Now, Brian has Castle Hives, and he has a YouTube channel, and you can see the little S, so he's one of my members. But he has this 3D printer, and he's just made this tiny little beehive. And I would like one. I told him on his video I would like one. I mean, Brian, I would actually pay you for one. Seriously. I just think they are just so amazing. And it'd be so cute to have on my table or on my desk. So I really think you should put some on your Etsy store, and I would buy one. Tony says there's no links on iPhones. I have an Android, and so it should work for my phone. And Emma's saying something that's cool. She must be talking about something Angie said. DC said that we got snow today. I'm driving home from picking up Z from school, and it was like I was in a shaken up snow globe. Yes, driving home today was fun. I remember those days when it is just like the snow is coming sideways in every direction, and it's like you just have to concentrate slowly on the road. Here in Florida, we are zoned 9B, so we don't get snow. I understand that a lot of Florida was warmer later, and so a lot of people are just barely starting their winter gardens. Is that true for you guys? Brian says they even have little frames to go inside. Oh, Brian, I think you need to do a whole great big long video and show everybody. I think you could sell thousands of them to all the beekeepers around the country. Hi, Linda. Just got here. Hi, Sandy. So fun. Oh, I didn't realize that John and Brian were so close together. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. Oh, Google says crows, lizards, and snakes can also get the hummingbird nests. The lizards that we have right here are just the little salamanders. So I suppose they could, but last year the nest was just like ripped apart on the ground. So we assumed it was a cat. Now it could be birds. That's true. There are birds here, that could do it. But there's a lot of feral cats. And so that's why we thought that was probably the culprit. Linda's baking cookies. Oh, it's been too wet to start. Yeah, because Geeky Gardens said that he was just starting his gardens. And usually when I watch his videos, he's already started his winter gardens a month ago. But he said it's just been too hot. Madeline, how are you? Just saw that you were on. Hi, all. Awesome. I hope you're doing good tonight. So fun. Yeah, and then you guys should do a video of you two meeting up. I love it when channels meet up. It's just so much fun. So the other day, I'm pretty sure it was last Thursday, when I did my vanilla bean video, I made vanilla bean pear jam. Now, I love this combination anyway, but it was probably my best batch I have ever made. And a lot of it has to do with the pears that you get. And they were just Bartlett's, but the flavor on them was just so amazing. I actually had them on pancakes for lunch yesterday. I just put it on there, rolled it up. They were so good. We had the pancakes the day before, so we had extra. So, it was good. And Linda is making cherry drop cookies with cherries, pineapple, and pecan. Oh, I bet you that's good. Oh yeah, totally, totally good. Oh, I am missing people. Do you have a twin? No. I always find it interesting when you run into somebody that looks like you. And or you're someplace and somebody that you run into looks like one of your friends back home. I just find it totally interesting. Tim says most snow ever was 18 inches. Ah, my dad told me a very interesting story the other day. He said that until I think it was 1960, mid 60s, 1965, 68, something like that. Did you know that Denver, Colorado did not own a snowplow for the city? And the weather patterns, the jet stream has changed enough that they can get slammed with snow. But before that, they might get, 3 inches, 4 inches, not a lot. They would just let it melt on the roads. And now that they have this whole fleet of cars to clean off, of trucks to clean. And I just thought that was interesting that he was telling me this story. And he had been down there, and he knew somebody that worked for the city and the county, and they didn't own snow equipment until after the late 60s. So just a little fact for you. My 16-year-old baked her first batch of chocolate chip cookies all by herself. Oh, Emma, she's getting too big. Tony, thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you had a great birthday the other day. Sunday, just yesterday. And Tony lives over the pond, so it's probably 3 o'clock in the morning right now there at his house. So Tony, thanks so much. So fun that he stopped in. Linda, we are like a cake. Oh, they are like a cake cookie. Oh, see, I like combinations with fruits and nuts and cookies anyway. Andy, hello. I don't think you have been in one of my lives. And I think Karen, how are you? I was pretty sure I'd seen when you came in, and then I was talking. There she is. Karen is also one of my members, and she has a great channel. She is a total chef. She has been on one of my Monday night lives when I've had people up, and she has just been a great friend on YouTube. Sorry, it's going way fast. Tony says, in Scotland, all of our snowplows have funny names. Oh, that's fun. You can live track them on the government website and see their funny names. I'm going to do that. How fun. Jean, hello, how are you? And, okay, so there was enough comments that said that I should do the camera for the hummingbirds, because they like those willow trees that are right at our yard, right on the yard. So I will do that. Now, do you know an app to make a cookbook quick? I do, but I am going to have to, I'm going to have to find that and make sure I brought that down with me, because I've been working on a cookbook and it's taken longer than I thought it was going to be. But yes, and I'm sorry, I just can't think off the top of my head what that is called. So, if you send me an email, I will find it and I will send it to you. Okay. So, and I'll put my email so that it goes across. Right there. But just send it to me, and then I will, because it's probably my one bag, because I was bringing stuff down. Jean says that I was making chicken salad. It's dry, just looking at recipes. It came across your live chat. Oh, fun. I love chicken salad. We always smoke our chicken if it's at all possible. And then when I make chicken salad or chicken sandwiches, oh, that smoky flavor. I just love that. I just find that just so delicious. And oh my gosh, here's some of the names for their snowplows. That is great, Tony. Now go to bed, Tony. You need to get up in the morning. I think it is either 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning where he lives in Scotland. No, it's not Canva, though you can make a cookbook on Canva. I had talked to somebody and I had the company send me the stuff, and you go all online and you're putting it all in there. But I don't know why I can't think of what the name of it is, but I will find that out. And in fact, I'll talk about it on my live next Friday if I can get it. Oh, it's 2:30, basically 2:30 in the morning where Tony is. That is just craziness. But what else have we been doing on the homestead? Still adding more gardens. And I was out in the garden yesterday because I didn't have to water today because I've been trying to do it every other day. When it was in the 90s, I was doing it every day because of the sandy soil. But it was a little cooler today. I think it was 79, 78 degrees. But the corn, it's all the way up to here. When I'm standing, it's all the way to here. So it's basically 5 feet tall. And it is just craziness. And almost every single one of my cauliflowers have a little head. And so I'm just totally excited about that. Brian says, I made one on Shutterfly. Oh, I've been on Shutterfly before. I didn't realize that you could do a cookbook. My mom made my brother and myself cookbooks with family recipes. I scanned the pages and made a nice hardbound family recipe book. That is so fun. I love recipes from the family. I have both of my grandma's favorite cookbooks. I have the recipe cards, and then my grandma Reichert that lived on the farm, she had this little tiny spiral notebook, and it's all handwritten in pencil, and it's some of her favorite recipes that she made over and over and over again. And I have that, and I just love that. Oh my gosh, Tina, how are you, Tina Ladybug? It's just so fun seeing all your friends when they come into the live chats, and then they're talking amongst themselves, and I love that. When I go into people's lives, I scroll up and down and I see who's in there so I can say hi to my friends, because it's just so fun. She included a story with each recipe. Oh, see, that is such a fun idea, because when you're sharing those memories, especially if the cookbook is for your family, and then you don't lose all those things, that's one of the things why I really love family get-togethers. Oh, Michelle and Rob, how are you? I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and you're expecting great things for the holidays. And, oh, Michelle, I have some loofahs growing. And, they're not very big yet because I only planted them a couple of weeks ago. And, I started them, and they have true leaves, and I have them in a place where they can climb up. But I'm just totally excited. And every time I see them, I think of you and all your loofahs drying by your kitchen. And so I just think it's great. And you are totally right, because sometimes it's hard to watch all the videos, but if you can be in some lives where a lot of people are in there, it's just so much fun. Hello to all from the Smoky Mountains. So, Greenback Girl, what's the snow situation in the Smoky Mountains? Have you had some? Not had any? I was just telling everybody earlier that back home, my daughter said it was 10 degrees this morning. But my friend that is down here, they're from North Pole, Alaska. And the other day, I asked her, so how is everything back home? And it was 32 below zero that day. 32 below zero. That is that is crazy. That's cool. Lynn, how are you? I'm actually still awake. Can you believe it? You're so fun. Yes, you told me before. I was asleep. Michelle says, that is awesome. Mine is still on the vine in the snow. So it doesn't, how cold can it be without you picking it off before you have to take it in and dry it the rest of the time? Oh, so you're making a cookbook, personal stories and pictures. It takes a lot of time. See, I thought I could do the whole cookbook through the summer. Wrong. You know, no, it just takes way too long. And I don't want to rush it. I don't want it to be, oh, we'll just put this out. It won't make any difference. I want it to be something that's good, because there's a lot of cookbooks out there. A little snow in the higher elevations, none for us in the foothills yet. It's interesting that some winters there's just so much snow, and then it's not. Lynn says, oh my word, I would die of cold. It's chilly here in Texas. I brought my herbs inside because she has basil, rosemary, stuff like that in pots. So you might as well grow them all winter, and your winter won't last that long. You can take them back outside again. I may be cutting it off the vine soon. I'm experienced to see how long I can leave them. They aren't drying in the moisture. No mold so far. Okay, so that's interesting, because you have to dry them and you're going to peel that outside of those loofahs out, and then you have that sponge that you pay big bucks in the store for, and you can grow them pretty easily. And so it's interesting. I've watched her different videos when she's talked about, them growing and then them drying and the peeling them off, and interesting stuff. And I appreciate that she's doing that so that all of us can learn about that. And Angie grows loofahs too. And so I think it's, you can actually, loofahs, when they're small, when they're young, you can actually eat them. It's not till they get big and they get that, it changes inside, and then you want to use it to scrub with, scrub your skin. And Michelle says, I love my loofahs filled with soap. What kind of soap are you putting in there? And Angie says, my loofah is outside still alive, and we've had below freezing temperatures. That's good to know. Charmaine, you're right. When they're small, when they haven't got too big, no, they're not those great big honking things. They're edible, which is interesting because later on they're not edible. And you just have to know when to pick them if you're going to eat them. So I think that's an interesting fact about it. But we are about to start all of our cookie making. And I have to make a couple dozen for the clubhouse in the village. They have a cookie exchange thing, and we're supposed to bring 2 dozen cookies. So I thought I'd do some fun things and decorate the tops. And I'll just make like a sugar cookie. And then I always like to make spritz. My vanilla cookies that I did a video on, they're so scrumptious. I'm making some of them. I'm actually going to make some mincemeat cookies. How many of you have ever tried mincemeat cookies? It would have been something probably that you ate when you were young. And so they have the layer of cookie, a little bit of mincemeat, another layer, and you pinch it all around, and then you cook it. It's so good. And you could put other fillings if you don't like mincemeat. But when we were growing up, that's what we had, and it is just phenomenal. Michelle says, I filmed a short video a few days ago. You can see them then. Oh, okay. I also cooked one and ate it. I did melt. Oh, you did the melt and pour. Okay. This year I'm going to try the cold press. Oh, see, I love making soap. And it's interesting, and it's not a difficult process. And you can just do so many things when you make your own soap. But then you get to a point and then it's like, I have too many bars of soap, and you've given them to all kinds of people. And it's like, I can't make any more soap right now because I just have too many things of soap. My former mother-in-law used to make mincemeat cookies. See, I love those. My grandmother made them. So when we were growing up, people would go, ooh, mincemeat. And those cookies were so amazing. And she made the mincemeat. She didn't buy it in the jar. Where if you don't make it, just buy it in the jar. There's some good ones out there. And Michelle says, Loofah tastes like this. If zucchini and a cucumber had a baby. That's interesting. So it's a little sweeter than a zucchini. Okay, texture-wise, Michelle. More like a cucumber or more like a zucchini? Is it thicker or is it really light and juicy? That's just so interesting. Anne says, I don't think I ever had mincemeat cookies. It is really good. Now, there's a couple ways to make mincemeat. Some mincemeat is made and it has actual meat in it. And then there's recipes of mincemeat that have apples and a whole bunch of stuff in it. And honestly, I like both of them. But I think more people like the kind with the apples in. And some of it is just based on the cook that made them too. And so that's always interesting. Angie is saying, I started using the soap I made a few years ago. It is so good. Yeah, see, it's nice that depending on what you make it from, because sometimes when you make soap, depending on the oils that you use, they can go rancid after a certain amount of time. It just really depends on the whole process that you did and the oils that you used. So the loofah, the texture is lighter but squishy. That's interesting. I'll let you know. I'll do a video when they get big enough for me to eat one or two or three or four or whatever. And because I only need so many of the sponges, There's a video in my loofah playlist of me cooking. Okay. I will look that up tomorrow or later tonight, one of the two. My mother-in-law used mincemeat in a jar. Yeah, there's a lot of people that buy mincemeat in a jar because it's a long process and you have to have a lot of things. And then are you going to can it or what are you going to do with all the other? And so you might as well, unless you're going to use a lot of mincemeat, you might as well just buy one of those jars in the store and try it and see if you like it. Because what if you hate it and you went through that whole process of making your own mincemeat and then you didn't like it? I'd hate that. Jackie. Hi, Jackie. How are you? I lived in England for several years. Their mincemeat has soot in it and no meat. Suet in there and no meat. That's interesting. Do they have apples and things in there? Yeah, John and I had talked about this, that one of his batches of soap went rancid. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it's the oils, if the process is off a little bit, it can happen, and there's not really anything you do. I mean, I suppose you could hang it for trees if you had problems with deer, it might help. You could scrub things outside that you needed to, but that's interesting. It can, it doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. And so that's interesting that you go through the process. And I really think that some of it is based on some of the oils that we buy in the store now. You don't really know how old they are. They have expiration dates, but how long has it actually been in the store before that expiration date? And so that can be interesting. Hi, Carolyn. Just got on here and was thinking y'all were talking about the loofah you shower with. We were. Yes. We were talking about that. When the loofah is small, you can eat it, but then it gets big and it becomes what you use in the shower. And so it's interesting, and it's double something that you can use either way. And so it's one of those funny vegetables like zucchini. Now, if a zucchini is under 8 inches, it is called a courgette. If it's 8 inches to about 18, 20 inches, depending on who you talk to, it's called a zucchini. If it's past that, it's called a marrow. But it is actually all the same plant. So if you're in the grocery store and they have a sign that they have courgettes, they're just little tiny baby zucchinis. And, it's just one of those things. And, it's going fast. Fast. We want to see Joe taste test the cooked loofah. I will make him. That's right. In fact, I'm going to do a series for a couple weeks before Christmas, and I will have the first one up tomorrow, with having to do with Jello. Now, when I grew up, every holiday, especially during the Christmas holidays, when you're going to your aunts and you're going to your grandmas and you're going here and there, or they're coming to our house, always there was Jello, molded Jello with lots of fruit, or sometimes there was Jello and it had carrots and pineapple, or there was layers, and there was a layer with one color with carrots, and then cabbage, and then beets. And I happen to love how Jello looks with different fruits and vegetables, and or if you add, you can add sour cream, you can add cream cheese, you can add whipped cream, and it does all these different things with Jello. And so I thought to myself, I'm just going to do, until Christmas, maybe on every Tuesday I'll do a thing on Jello. And I don't know if I remove myself, if you guys can see the Jello. So let me know if you can see it. And then I hope it doesn't make this. Maybe I'm not going to do it, because I don't know if I take myself off the screen so you can see the picture of the Jello, if it will just stop the stream. I don't know. I never did that before, so I guess I'm not going to do that. Jackie says most are made with raisins, currants. That's true. There's a lot of recipes with apples and different fruits, and it's just it's fun, Last year we watered my loofah twice a day, and they were huge. I saw those pictures of those loofahs. I mean, they were honking big, huge loofahs. And so I find that totally fun. This year we didn't water as often, and they were smaller. Do you like them better, larger, or smaller? Because a lot of times people will slice them anyway, and then they put them in their soap. And Shawnee says, I remember using a tin of fruit salad in Jello. The one I'm using right now, that the video I'm working on, has fruit cocktail in, because that was one of the main things that we had continuously in our refrigerator. So we would have that lots of times. And I have to tell you, I did not used to like Jello. I didn't at all. I liked the taste, but I didn't like the texture of it. And Lynn has Jello in the refrigerator right now. As I got food poisoning the day after Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh, Lynn. I'm glad you're feeling better now. That's a horrible thing to have. Yeah, just horrible. And see, I switch my thoughts and then it's gone. My mom makes ribbon Jello for Christmas. I don't know what ribbon Jello is. Or is that when it has the different colors in the different layers? Because I have done that, but I'm not really sure what ribbon is. Good to know, Michelle. I will water mine twice a day this next season because she's growing loofahs too. So that's good. Tiana, how are you? My grandma used to do Jello that we put mayo on the top. Oh, when we were kids, I saw some recipes and they added mayo to the Jello. That is interesting because I just read that the other day and I thought that's an interesting thing to add to Jello. Anne says, what a great idea to do Jello videos. Well, I think it's because when I was thinking about doing it, I thought there's a lot of people that don't do Jello anymore. You know, they may buy the little tiny containers of Jello for their kids for their lunchbox, but there are some fantastic recipes for Jello. And like Welch's that make the juice, they have their own brand of Jello. You know, Walmart has their own brand of Jello. And then the regular Jello, you know, that we grew up with. And so I just thought it would be kind of a fun thing to do. And sorry, I was reading comments. We always had red Jello with fruit cocktail and whipped cream blended in. Yeah. Pepto Pink. It's interesting the colors that you can get. I really like it when you, and it takes a lot of time, when you do the Jello and you tilt the glasses that it's in. And so you do the layers. And so all the colors of layers are crooked. And then you can put whipped cream or whatever on top. I find those are very cool. A little fish in the kitchen. Hello, how are you? Don't you just love her name? Yeah, her channel name. I love that. I do. Do you all remember 1-2-3 Jello? They sold it in a box and it had 3 layers. That is true. And if you take your Jello and if you let it set a little bit and then you whip it, it's still the color, but it's a different color. Like if you're whipping red, it's more pink when you whip it up. And then if you add like whipped cream to it, it's a really light pink. But I'll give you a little secret of one of the videos I'm going to do for it. So you take a cantaloupe, and I already bought the cantaloupe, and you peel the cantaloupe all off, the skin off, and you cut the very bottom so you can scoop out all the seeds. Then you pour the Jello in there with some fruit in there, put the top back on and set it in your refrigerator until it gets really cold and it sets all up. And then you slice it. So then you have these rings of cantaloupe. And then inside you have an opposite color. So like you could use red or really could use any color you wanted to. And then the fruit in there. And so that's one of the videos I'm going to do because I find that so fun. Same idea. They take a watermelon and you don't peel it. You cut the bottom off, scoop out all the seeds, and you literally scoop a bunch of the watermelon out too. Then you pour the Jello back in with all kinds of fruit, including the watermelon pieces, and you let it set, and then you can cut it into wedges. See, it's just fun. Jello is fun. But I really didn't ever like the texture of Jello until I had my daughter Alicia. And I was in the hospital and they wouldn't let me have anything. There was a little bit of an issue, not much of an issue, but a little bit, you know, and they wouldn't let me have anything to eat. And I was so starving. And I think it was about, it must have been 36 hours after I had had my C-section. They had a bomb scare at the hospital. It was on an Air Force base. And they literally took all the babies in these little vests that had 4 pockets and slid the babies in there. I had to get out of bed and go onto this bus, and they shipped everybody out of the hospital. It was just a fake. There was no bomb. We all come back in there, and I said to the girl, I have to have something to eat. And she said, well, I can give you some Jello. And it was the best thing I had ever eaten. And since then, I like Jello. And so sometimes you have to have those diverse problems to change your mind on what a food is like. And um, Jello, the fruit Jello is a great idea. I may do the small watermelon this Christmas. See, that's if you just use those ones that are called personal watermelons, which are really bigger than just one person eating it at one time. But you can get them for a couple dollars. That's the perfect size because it's easy to scoop out and you're not using tons of Jello, and you can just add all kinds of fruit in there. Even like passion fruit with those little black seeds, and or that's dragon fruit. You can just put all kinds of stuff in there. And it's like, why not? My daughter loves Jello, and she makes the ones that have the 3D flowers on it. Yeah, my mom has a Jello mold that looks like a Christmas wreath. And I like Jellos that, those cookies that are ladyfingers, and you put that in your mold, and then you put in the Jello in there and the fruit, and if you're adding whipped cream and all that stuff. It's just fabulous. Lime Jello is my fave. I don't know what I would say my favorite one is. I like a lot of the red ones, like strawberries, raspberries, cherry. Welch's makes a really good grape one. Have you ever had Jello jigglers? Yeah, and they're easy to make. You're just using less water, and they're totally fun. And the fun thing about Jello is you don't have to actually have a Jello mold. Any kind of mold or bundt cake or anything like that, you can put Jello in, and you just get it warm on the outside, and it wiggles a little bit, and plop it over, and it pops right out. Caroline is leaving us for the evening, and we are past my half hour, so I apologize for that because I always try to keep it at a half hour. But look forward to the Jellos, the Jello videos. And what am I making on Thursday for my vanilla bean? I am actually making two things because they're bars. One of them is an apple pie bar that has a vanilla bean in it. And so you're scraping the seeds in there, and so it gives it a really huge, great flavor. And the other one is Rice Krispie bars that you add a vanilla bean in. And it just lifts it up to a whole new level. Now, one last thing before we go. I'm trying to make, with some experiments, the fastest way to make vanilla. Because my vanilla recipe that I use, I do it for 2 years. I only put a few vanilla beans in there in little jars. And lots of people have asked me, can I just put the beans in a liquor bottle? Well, of course you can. So I thought, well, let's see how fast I can do one. How fast can I make vanilla? So it must have been about 4 or 5 days ago. I did a short, and this is a 1.75 liter vodka. And this is a clear bottle, and I stuffed 25 vanilla beans in here. And I've been shaking it every day. And look at how dark it is already. Now, it doesn't have that vanilla flavor yet. I mean, I can smell vanilla, but it hasn't become vanilla yet. Because light or dark, it's all about the flavor. Sometimes people go, well, that's not very dark. Well, if it has great flavor, it doesn't matter. So anyway, I'll keep you posted. I think it'll probably take about 3 months. So before we go back home, and I'll let you know how fast I can make vanilla. But everybody, thank you so much for coming in. And I appreciate it. On Friday morning at 9:15 Mountain Standard Time, I will have my other live, but look for the other videos this week. And I so appreciate everybody coming out, and I hope you have a great week and that you're getting ready for Christmas and all the holidays, and that it's just the best holiday season ever. So bye, everybody. Thank you so much.